Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of Side Dive, our midweek episode. Today, I kind of want to talk about two topics. Both of those topics being 1, movie theaters, and 2, record stores. And the importance and rise and fall of those things, and how they kind of tie into Deep Dive. So, how they tie into Deep Dive, obviously, is we are here weekly talking about all the things that we love, whether it be music, movies, video games, books, we're going to get into everything. But lately we've been covering pretty much movies and music. And how those two things tie into Deep Dive heavily are the art of collecting. And within the realms of those things, when you're a hardcore fan of something, at least for where I'm from and with a lot of people I know, you go out and you collect it, right? So you're going to go to the record stores. And with movies, when you're a fan, you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on. You want to see all the new hit movies. As a film buff, that's just kind of your thing. So you're going to go to movie theaters. And today I just wanted to talk about how both of those things have changed drastically in 2024. In 2024, we have seen a decline in movie-going in general, and I know part of that is prices, and both that and the mixture of the convenience of being able to watch your movie at home. There's a lot of safety reasons why that's appealing to some people. There is budget reasons why that's appealing to some people. There is going out in public and just wanting to be at home instead. That's just more appealing to people. But with movie theaters, it's a, tradition. It's a thing about film that's part of the experience. It's part of everything, seeing it on the big screen with the big sound, all the lights are off, you're there to see the movie. There's no distractions, there's no cell phones, and there was no cell phones when that shit was invented 100 years ago. So I wanted to touch on those two things. We'll kick it off with the record stores. That's the first thing on my mind. Record stores dying is very shitty to me in a way, and while they're still thriving here and there with the current vinyl resurgence, they are largely and will largely remain gone. And that's always been a bummer to me. One of my favorite movies, I think I mentioned it a couple episodes ago, was Almost Famous by Cameron Crowe. And a really great quote in that movie is, if you ever feel alone, just go down to the record store and visit your friends. And, that might sound cheesy, but when you're not a very popular person, or you're not trying to be too involved in socializing, maybe you're just an introvert, but you still love music, you're going to go to a record store, right? I mean, that's what we did up until about 15 years ago, give or take. And it really bums me out because the experience of going to a record store and searching for the things that you're searching for is largely gone. And I don't think newer generations will understand the greatness of walking down the aisles and seeing all these great album covers and, searching for that nitty-gritty album that maybe no one else has heard of, but you just know and you want it, and that charm is gone with streaming. All of that stuff is kind of just fallen by the wayside. And look, I'm not going to say that obviously streaming doesn't have its merits, but it takes away from the experience, and again, I know convenience is a big thing for a lot of people. It's the reason that we've seen this really steep decline in physical media, but you got to think about it. I mean, there's just a certain charm to owning all the music you love. And on top of that, you don't have to deal with any licensing. Once you buy that, that's yours. With these streaming sites, contracts, they expire. And then these companies are going to just pull that shit right out from under you. And that may not be the biggest deal, but to me, it is a big deal. I've always been somebody who has wanted to collect and archive as much of the things I love as possible so I can enjoy it again and again and again and again. And, believe it or not, I do. There are those of us out there, the question's always asked, well, if you own, 1,000 CDs, are you really listening to it all the time? And, to be honest with you, yes, I am, because I am a creature of habit. And I go and I do that stuff pretty much all the time. If I'm feeling jazz, I'll listen to my jazz albums. If I'm feeling post-hardcore, I'm going to listen to that. If I'm feeling metal or rap or pop or whatever it may be, I am all up in it. And to me, while I still do use Spotify and iTunes Music and things like that on occasion, especially shout out to, any of those people that you're listening to us on, they have their merits, and I love things like podcasting and all of that. So I'm not saying we should do away with one, but society has kind of said that about record stores. Like, we're doing away with it. And it's a mixed bag. It's not all the consumer. A lot of it is corporations not being able to make as much money off the artist and or, album sales as they did in the past, just due to the climate changing. But I think we should fight for it. I think as long as you're still buying it on Amazon, you're buying the music physically and you're collecting stuff, I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. It makes you feel that much more in it. And it's not something that I really think you can replace. I think it's something that those of you who have done it and grew up with it know, and those of you who are younger but might be intrigued by the very thought of it, give it a shot. Go out there and listen to Green Day. And if you like Green Day, listen to more Green Day. And if you like a little bit more of that Green Day, go buy some of those albums. Grab a record player, grab a CD player, start collecting, because Green Day is going to lead to Offspring, and Offspring might lead you to Blink-182, and Blink-182 might lead you to, the craziest of things, like Motley Crue. It's just, that's how music is. It off branches you to all these other things, and you're going to have your genres, you're going to have your favorites. But eventually, if you love music, it'll really start to kick you, and you'll start jumping all over the place. And to me, that's part of the charm. And I have a really large CD collection myself, like I mentioned, and I listen to all of it. I do. And I have a pretty equally large vinyl collection, and I do listen to that as well. I enjoy it thoroughly. I love searching for it. We have one record store left in town called Recycled Records. I love it. Shout out to that place. I've been going there pretty much my entire life. My dad took me there at a young age. I was probably about 7 or 8. Bought my first record. Shout out to my dad as well. I mean, he pretty much got me into it. Like I said, he was a drummer in a band, and he toured for a short amount of time with a couple of his bands and saw semi-success in the underground rock scene, whatever you wanted to call it, in the 90s. And it was great. It was pretty cool. And because of all of that, I got heavily into music. I grew up around music. He was in a country western band right before that, which I know is weird, but he's just been an all-around genre guy, which is probably where I get it. And I thought that was cool at the time, and it really helped me get into music on the whole. Other than that, though, all I really wanted to say about it is, if you love music, like I said, and you love the experience of it, you like going to live shows, anything in that territory, please support what record stores are left. Support it any way you can. Get into it, get involved. Try to build up those collections and see where it takes you, because it really can be fun. And then the second topic of the episode, like I said, is definitely movie theaters, which in a weird way is a lot of the same issues, really. Like, you don't want to have to leave your house. You'd rather just watch it on TV because it's convenient. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to pay $18 a ticket. I mean, it's wild in some places. So I do get it. And I do think there is obviously a market for the at-home viewer. But those of us who know, it's like an American pastime. Are you going to cancel baseball? You're not. You're going to keep going to baseball. So we need to keep the movie theaters alive. And it may not seem like it's a huge deal or that it's actually not happening, but as a longtime moviegoer myself, and I go to the movies pretty frequently still, it's just not as busy as it used to be. And I know theaters are getting away with basically armed robbery with the ticket prices, as well as the snack prices and the little conveniences they want to throw at you. But yeah, it's definitely getting wild in that regard. But we should still keep supporting it, only because that is a very great way to experience the movie for the first time. I mean, there's really nothing like it, especially if you're a parent and you have kids and you take them to those early on. You just don't know the impression that kind of thing is going to make on them. That's how we create future movie directors, and obviously not the only way. But I can tell you, as a kid, I would just be in awe of what I was seeing. And I think that does transcend to every age, depending on what you're watching. There's a genre for everyone out there. There is, there's just something for everyone. Like I said, I mean, that's really the best way to put it, because it's the truth. And that's what I think the broad appeal is with the movies. you have all these different personalities and they have all these ideas and they are happy enough to share them with us. And I really like that. It might be a dated tradition to some, but it's not just about the tradition. It's also just about how movies are made with their intentions, their little imperfections. And when you go see it in the movie theater, none of that stuff really hits you till at home or until we had the internet. Like you'd go see a movie and you'd be analytical of it for sure, but you wouldn't be picking it apart and just talking all the shit you could on it and dragging it through the dirt. And I'm not saying that's the case for every movie, and I fucking do my fair share of that, but the movies is great. It's an experience. You're walking down the hall, you're seeing all the coming attractions, the posters, everything that you might be anticipating in the next couple of months, and then you get to see them again, at least some of them, in the form of the movie trailers. And some people do or don't like that. As a movie fan, I love it because I get to go and see again, like, what's coming out, what do I get excited for. And granted, yes, we have the internet for that now, but it's still just as cool to see them on the big screen. Every once in a while, they do overdo it with the occasional, like, holy shit, really? This is like the 13th trailer for this film. But I think it's an important and vital piece of filmmaking and our culture. And I don't really see any reason for it to die. I get the frustrations with the prices, but beyond those things, and maybe other than maybe just being an introvert and not wanting to go to the theater, I think they're cool because, you can make an evening of it. You go out to eat, you go see the movie you're trying to see, and then you maybe go get dessert after. And even if it's not on a date, you could take yourself on a little single movie date and, roll solo like Han. And yeah, I don't really think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's one of those things where you can enjoy yourself and enjoy the film, and the beauty of going either alone or with a group is there's time to reflect afterwards. If you're alone and you see the movie, you're going to be thinking about everything you saw, you interpreted, what you were watching meant to you. And then with a group, you get a bunch of outside perspectives when it happens too. And frankly, I love both. There's nothing like going, like my brother and I and his girlfriend are going to go see the new Beetlejuice, and I'm so pumped for it. I'm very rarely pumped for sequels like this, but I am pumped for it, and I'm definitely going to the theater. Been waiting for this movie for over 30 years. The first one is just a classic to me. I'm super excited, and I don't think the anticipation of watching that at home would feel the same to me. I think the whole package is what's really going to pay off there. And yeah, I think I'd like to know what you guys think about this. This is a topic that I get, a lot of feedback from my friends, and there are mixed feelings about it. And I'm kind of just curious what the general consensus is. So, you know where to hit us up. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're getting sprinkled around Reddit a little bit. There's definitely some buzz, and I think people are kind of enjoying the content, and that's why I want to keep it coming to you as frequently as possible. Frankly, I love it. I don't care if I only have 11 people listening to me, or 30 people listening to me, or 2 people listening to me. I think I have now figured out that this is one of my new favorite hobbies, is to just tune into you once or twice a week, kind of talk about what we're thinking about, what I'm thinking about, and the conversations between Rex and I are pretty damn fun to share with you guys, because we've been having these conversations for years, and I'm sure we were both thinking like, man, if we had a show or a podcast, it'd be a great way to express it. And I know I was thinking that for sure. I mean, I think that with a lot of my friends. We are all very kind of analytical, and we discuss the deeper things, as I'm sure most of you do. And that's what I'm hoping to appeal to, is the group of you who love to just discuss this stuff. You can be a lover, you can be a hater, whatever. Just, argue your point to us and tell us how you feel about it, because I love the conversation. There are plenty of great conversations stemmed between my friends and I about how much I dislike something and they love it, and then vice versa. And it's really cool to hear the counterparts of those things. And I personally wouldn't trade it for anything. And that's why it's cool to just record this now and talk to you guys about it. So those are my thoughts on record stores and movie theaters. They are part of our culture. I don't want to see them die. And, one of them largely has, but there's nothing we can do about it now. It is what it is, But I would like to know what you think, like I said. So hit us up on Deep Dive, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Tell me what you think about going to the movies, or fond memories you have of the movies, or going to record stores and finding your favorite music, or whatever it may be. Buying movies, that's also part of the deal. Movies were pretty well incorporated into those record store days, and I can definitely say I bought my fair share there. So, like I said, pop in, let me know what you think on that issue. I thank you for listening to another episode of Side Dive. We are going to hit you in 2 days, well, day and a half now. I got this one to you kind of late. That's my bad. But we will be hitting you with a new episode. We're going to be talking about Bethesda's Starfield a year down the line. DLC coming at the end of the month. So we are going to deep dive it. We're going to talk about it. So we will catch you on Friday. This is your boy Practikal. Have a great rest of your week. And I'm out.